Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I had promised, I don't know if I did mention it, that the next episode when I talk about marriage, I'm gonna actually have my husband, because I felt like this is the only thing that, it's his passion, sexual intimacy. Say hi to the people.
Hi guys.
You might forget, like, yo. Yeah, so I'm still on about, what has been going on in our culture, how marriage has received such a negative feel. So now we're really just saying, no man, actually marriage is not that bad. Marriage is good. You just need the tools, the right tools to navigate seasons, like I had said. So yeah, today I'm gonna talk about sexual intimacy with my husband, and he has been working with a lot of couples regarding sexual intimacy. Yeah, so I just want to start off with a question. What do you think make people or the society have a negative view regarding sexual intimacy in marriage, especially in the Christian community? Yeah.
Wow, that's a deep question.
The other day in on social media, I don't know what they were talking about, and the comments that were made were like, oh, there must be marriage, insinuating that when you are married you don't have it a lot, or it's not that amazing. It's just like a duty and stuff like that. Yeah,
I think mostly it has to do with how the marriage PR has been in terms of having issues, infidelity issues, how the marriages have not been able to uphold that picture of bliss and being excited, etc. And how there's always, like, even with just the media itself, you are not going to hear any much of celebration to say, oh, I don't think any local newspaper has ever even gone to say, oh, we're celebrating these people, they've been married for 10 years, or where we actually we how do you say it? We project out the positives from marriage. All we ever hear is someone who has cheated. Yeah. Someone has had a scandal. There's actually a local tablet that it thrives on that.
Yeah.
Yes, and such news, because it gets dispensed so quickly, it almost now sends a picture, because week in week out you get a report about, oh, this person slept with this one, this marriage is splitting because of 1, 2, 3, da 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 da. Now the narrative around marriage is almost continuously being aligned to that negativity, such that even with young people, when you talk about marriage, no, marriage is good, it's a gift from God, etc., they don't hear that much often. So now it then obviously gives this bad PR around marriage, but not to say that there's no great marriages or marriages that are strong and are having great sex.
So it's a matter of how maybe the way in society, it's almost like the downside or the ugly is the one that is elevated more.
No, definitely.
Like if you see, let's say a couple maybe having a good time, you find that they will get more negative like comments, as opposed to when things are so bad, or maybe not negative, but it wouldn't be something that trends a lot.
No, it won't trend.
As opposed to like
when they're
divorcing,
that will trend.
Or
that's
when somebody cheated.
Yes.
Like it's almost like people are inclined to negative.
No, it's just
news.
It reflects the toxic nature of people. And how, obviously, remember we are fallen people who have a sinful nature.
Yeah.
So now anything negative, almost you don't need to train anyone to do bad. You don't need to train anyone to look the other way or to do anything that is contrary to the word of God. But now with the fruit of the Holy Spirit, with discipline, you need to then now wire yourself up. But to you don't need to train anyone. It's already in the nature of man. That's why it's easier to then
celebrate the bad.
Yeah, because you're
human.
Yeah, because when you see evil, it resonates with exactly who you are.
Yes.
And you can
the
relate
unredeemed men.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the word like that.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask, now that you're talking about sexual intimacy, what are some of the prominent issues among the married couples that you see? What's the pressing matter in the line of sexual intimacy? What's the common thing that keeps coming up from the people that we've worked with?
I'm gonna have to maybe divide. So there's obviously I see male counterparts, and then there's the ladies. With most ladies, what they usually struggle with is maybe lack of orgasm. Yeah, so they struggle with lack of orgasm. They struggle with low libido.
Yes.
In fact, the low libido comes before lack of orgasm. So they struggle with low libido. They feel like my interest is down, my mojo is gone. I don't feel like doing it anymore. It feels like work. Actually, just yesterday, I was consulting somewhere, and then that leader was like, "Hey, I feel the days we don't." Or the days my husband doesn't make a move on me to be intimate are the most exciting for me.
Sure.
So she was like, so usually what happens is that they try to do it maybe every other 2 days or every other 3 days. So when she has maybe been intimate with her husband today, she's more excited in the next 2 days because my husband is not gonna come on me. I thought that was terrible. And I was like, but those are the issues at hand. Because you want to go to the root to know, okay, what is the problem? Why is it that your libido is low? Why are you struggling to orgasm? Is it hormonal imbalance, etc.? And then some, obviously, then when it comes to the men, they struggle with early ejaculation. Some of them also struggle with erectile dysfunction, where they don't attain an erection, and some have insecurity about their size. This is one of the main things that men struggle with. They know what about feel, they need to be size. I think it's just maybe society how it has distorted the whole sexual intimacy, especially even things like pornography, seeing certain images, certain things being done in a certain way. It clouds the whole essence of intimacy, and it becomes a whole mess.
Would you say, you mentioned something like maybe like the wives not having orgasm? I have read that there are actually people who have never really had of orgasm, or maybe even know what orgasm, or have never had orgasm in their lives.
Yes.
I was gonna say, don't you think, especially in the Christian community, not only in the Christian community, but like, don't you think that in the past women or wives have been made to believe that sex is for the husband, even though it's not something that was said? But don't you think a lot of women think it's for the husband? It's almost like,
give it to him.
Like this way, this lady's responding like, hey, when I get home, I'm gonna have sex. My husband is gonna want to have sex with me. What is it gonna take to actually say, I can't wait and have sex? Like, to give women ownership that actually sex is just not for him, it's for me. Like, I want it for myself, not that I'm giving it to him, so that you can both get fulfilled in it. What do you think makes women to be caught in that space?
I think that's a very good question. I think what I've seen is this is even more evident in the backlash or the response that I got when I first started discussing these topics. I think it's society's perception. It's a societal perception that we have, inherited even from our old great grandfathers. You'll realize, Jorge, in the past, what used to happen, I hope my facts are right, but what used to happen was that even in some other African countries was where there were female organ mutilation, where the clitoris will be cut off. Remember that clitoris, it's actually the doorway to sexual intimacy for a woman, which meant that, and the idea then was that the woman shouldn't enjoy sexual intimacy, because how can enjoy sexual intimacy then yes, that was how narcissistic and bad the men were, and just abusing the ladies back then. So now perception then it's like, so
because I can imagine enjoying sex without a clitoris. It's almost like sex without a penis.
Exactly. It's unheard of. So what happens is that the narrative becomes, passed on to the generations.
Yeah.
Now, for Nayana, we don't do much of mutilations or clitoris being cut, etc. But what society does is that it's as if it does not accept or embrace the sexuality where if you become expressive about your needs, you attempt certain terminologies that I can enter here because they are very disrespectful. Any form of respect. Even within marriages, where I've had a lot of ladies, if Kidirayana Leana, one time on the in a certain way, they wonder where did you learn this, why you this way, etc. But then obviously much of it you realize it has to do with obviously sex languages, which are not a common thing. Most people don't know that. Where they're not able to communicate in the intimate space okay, this is who I am, this is what I desire.
Say, you've told me a story before of a man who would say to the wife, like such as I'm coming in, like, and I'm thinking, what do you mean? Like, it's like, get ready for me. What about for her? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like you need to get ready so that I can come and sort myself out. Yes. Yeah.
That's very true. So even in more of the woman can't really express their needs or the fact that hormonal refractory period after one orgasm maybe she wants more, she can't even expect that, she can't even express that because the expectation is so plan B there's nothing that happens, so it becomes very difficult. So now that has been the narrative, and I tried by all means to break that, to at least maybe create or start a conversation in a home where this is what I learned, so it's a challenge.
I like when you say, your heart was to spark or start a conversation in the home, which I think it's conversation that people are not prepared to have, or especially maybe for the men when we talk about sex. If a woman comes and express and say, I don't like this or I like this, it's almost like for the man it communicates a different message. In his mind he's thinking, are you saying I'm not performing? Is it one of the things maybe why a lot of ladies feel like I can't say, it's gonna come off if I'm saying you're not man enough or something like that?
That's very true, because sexuality for a man, it's actually a makeup of a man. That's why I don't think maybe in the next topic, or maybe infertility, dealing with it differently, or men, how do they deal with it, women, etc. For a man, that's why an element of performance anxiety, because satisfying your partner as a man, it's one of the main key things that you pride yourself with. And then that the ego then does not allow them to be told no, because of how. And this is actually another thing where every man almost always thinks that doing it right, typically that they're experts and they're at the top of their game. That's, I kind of had, I faced a bit of backlash even with some men who obviously felt I'm demeaning them or submissive or what, but that was not the idea. The idea was to let's start a conversation. Let the woman also express her needs, or anyway, let's adjourn.
That's true. I think for me, maybe I'm gonna make you emotional. I think your teachings for me, what I loved and took for myself, just boosted sexual confidence as a lady, and knowing that oh my gosh, I can be part of this. Oh, I can have this amount of pleasure that I didn't know of. I think it.
Wow, that's I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's because remember, like for a lot of people, especially in the church, they get married like virgins. They haven't really had experience. They don't know what to expect. Even in counseling, it's not like premarital counseling. It's covered in that. I know even for our premarital counseling, when we asked the pastor, he was like, "Oh no, it's automatic," which was so bad. Like that's a bad advice. It's people are not equipped enough. And the dangerous thing about it is, if you're not gonna equip people the way it should be done, somebody else or something else will give them the wrong information.
That is very true.
And that's what they're gonna take in their marriage.
And they think that's normal, and it just.
But they will the movie. We're gonna see these scenes where people come like it's so smooth. But the reality is, no, man. These people didn't even talk. The wife is ever ready. The man is ever ready. It's perfect. It's kissing. Like, nobody even omit the part where nobody has brushed their teeth. Like practical things. Like, in the words, like, I feel like we then adopt what, it's thrown to us by the media, because we are not doing our job. Like, when you come in within, our homes are also in the church, for Christian people.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we missed that part. So, because there is the realistic part, which is a beauty, by the way, and the unrealistic, which make people come with, unrealistic expectations.
That is true.
And then they think, this marriage is not working. Then they
true.
go outside the step of the marriage, or sometimes, especially with the Christian community, we get caught up in the space that I can't talk. Then they're gonna say I'm not a godly woman. I'm not praying enough. I'm not speaking in tongues enough. Those things. But I'm like, no, man, it's not okay. It's not okay. You have to say, I didn't have the orgasm that I was told about. Let's do something about it. Let's go sort help. As opposed to just thinking, I can't, I need to rubber. I'm telling you.
You can't treat an orgasmic need kaditang. You Christian, you out there. You are a spirit, you are a soul, and you are a body. Orgasm is a body thing. Yes, it's intertwined in the soul and the spirit, but you need to physically feel it. Yes, so that's why you need to equip yourself.
And God has blessed us with wisdom, people with gifts of being able to know these things. I mean, like for you, I know how you have helped a lot of people. Like, some of them will never know. It's the things that you're gonna see in heaven and say, actually, you delivered our marriage from this awfulness of boredom, sexual boredom, So I think God provides wisdom, knowledge, for us to get equipped how to apply those things.
That's right.
So, is there any other thing that you're thinking of?
Nah.
Just putting out there.
Yeah, but all I want to say, especially to the Christian community, because I feel I'm called for the Christian community. Remember, the marriage is a picture of how Christ relates with the church, which means there is a level of communion and closeness and intimacy that exists between Christ and the church. What we sometimes forget, especially in the married couples, is how we need to be passionate and how we need to be, communing with each other. Paul talks about this, don't stay long apart, except when it's matters of prayer and fasting. But even after that, come back together so that you may, close that gap, so that the enemy may not tempt you. So what you see there is that the sexual intimacy is a gift from God. That's why Isaac, when he saw his wife, he was like, I can't wait to sleep with my wife. I think that's one of the honest scriptures I've ever seen. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's why Proverbs says, let every man drink from his own cistern, right? So now what then happens is that things don't go the way we expect, and then we lose that closeness. Just imagine this. How can you grow as a Christian if you don't spend time in the Word, if you don't worship? That's exactly how marriage is. If you don't become intimate, you don't become close, you drift apart. There's a hormone called the oxytocin. That hormone is the bonding and the love hormone that you produce from your brain every time you orgasm, every time you are in sexual intimacy. Then it means that if you are not producing that enough, you feel apart. That's why you feel distant. That's why because in communion, you are not in union. So that's the level of intimacy that you need to have. It needs to be more regular because the enemy wants when it's not optimal. So get knowledge, get advice. To siwang rebiting. Now I'm called for marriages. I'm called for the Christian community so that they can have healthy, strong marriages. That are sexually fulfilling and are able to wait on the Lord. It's important.
Yeah, I think in conclusion, what I liked what you said is get help, because I think a lot of people, we can tend to magnify only one aspect of the marriage and feel like, okay, this is like the mountain that we can climb, but a lot of things constitute marriage. Sex is one of the big main things. I think when he says get help, it means get help in every other area of your life. Don't wait too long in one area, because then it's gonna ultimately affect the other thing, and then before you know it, it's just like a lot of things that you need to work through.
That's right.
And it's okay, like this thing, it's a journey. Okay, any last word?
Get knowledge. You only know what you know. It's dangerous not to know what you don't know.
Okay, right. Okay, thanks for coming. I think we will talk more about it. There's a lot that we haven't touched base on, but thank you.
It's an honor.
So if you like this conversation and you actually have specific questions or topics that you want us to talk about, please do the things. Okay, thank you. Bye. Do the things, like, share, comment, subscribe. Bye.